This is Season 2, Episode 17, Songs 1680 to 1661.
Christopher Williams, Billboard Top 3000 Countdown. Yeah. Every chorus, every hook you know by heart. Christopher Williams, Billboard Top 3000 Countdown. From number one to the ones that lit the charts.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chris's Billboard Top 3000 Countdown podcast, where I discuss a set of songs that are ranked in Billboard's all-time countdown from 1958, August 4th, through the end of 2022, a span covering over 65 years of the rock era and over 13,500 songs that have hit the top 40 in that time span. Now, Billboard assigns a point value based on number of weeks in the chart, its peak position, and it's weighed through various eras throughout the rock era. The point values are all added up. They are ranked from most to least. We shave off the top 3,000 and then we discuss them here in sets of 20 per podcast. I hope you enjoy. In the pole position for this set, song number 1680 is a double-sided hit from Paul McCartney and Wings, and they could not be more diametrically opposed. The 1974 hit, Junior's Farm, is a rockin' tune, while its B-side, Sally G, is about as country as a country song he has ever made. We haven't heard a whole lot of Wings, even though they have a lot coming up. This was a number 3 hit from 1974 that spent 11 weeks in the top 40, and so we will hear them both. Junior's Farm is the first one, Sally G is the second, and they are both song number 1680. Let's take a listen.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Down to Junior's Farm where I wanna let low. Low life high, let's go. Take me down to Junior's Farm. Take me down, Jimmy. And they call her Sally, Sally G. Why do you wanna do the things you do to me? You're my Sally, Sally G.
Now, there were periods on the countdown where these were both listed separately and together in various weeks. When they were together, they got as high as 17, and they split off. Junior's Farm hit 3. Sally G got as high as 39. But together, they did spend some time in the top 40, which is why I'm including them both. They were both recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, and they're both songs about the farm and the country, although the style of song is definitely different. I really do like Junior's Farm. The other one, it is song number 1680 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. We're going to be hearing a lot more of Wings in the coming podcasts. This is definitely a bridesmaid's set list of 20 songs. 8 of them, 40%, and the great Fred Bronson, one of my idols and who I'll be spending some time on a bonus podcast talking about, he said about what every number 1 song has that every number 2 song did not. Timing. We do have 4 number 1 hits as well, so 60% of this entire set list is a top 2 hit. But we do have a number 6 alert as we're coming down to the last handful of songs that peaked at number 6. We also have a number 1 song that's might be one of the most significant number 1 songs of the entire rock era, and I'll explain as we get to it. We go as far back as 1960 and as far forward as 2014, so a good rainbow of eras that we'll be representing in these 20 songs, so I'm glad to have you aboard. The one year we are going to dissect in our special segment on the years is 1991. I picked that not only because there's back-to-back songs from 1991, but it has a real Billboard significance to it, and I asked on the Facebook group, what is your favorite song from 1991, and already got a lot of good responses in just the first day that I proposed the question. We have a Facebook group if you would like to join. Chris Billboard Top 3000 Facebook group. Request to join and I will invite you in. We have 396 members. In addition to wonderful nuggets and tidbits and questions and clues to upcoming podcasts, there's a lot of individual content from many of the listeners and members about musical topics and Billboard-related topics. So please come out and join us. Join the fun. It's a very, very lively Facebook group. But let's continue on with the countdown, shall we? With song number 1679, Miko Minardo. You remember him? He was the guy that took scores from famous films and turned them into disco pop tunes in the late 70s. Domenico Minardo from Johnsonburg, Pennsylvania. He played the slide trombone as a youth and kind of migrated over to pop music in the late 60s and early 70s. He did a lot of arranging for the horn sections of pop tunes like Tommy James' Crystal Blue Persuasion. But when he saw the movie Star Wars in 1977, he wanted to do a disco funk version of it, and he did. That song went all the way up to number 1. Can you believe that? On October 1st and October 8th of 1977, of course, anything Star Wars touched turned to gold that year. It is song number 1679. This is Star Wars theme Cantina Band by Miko. I had to get that little piece of the R2-D2 clip in there. Now, Miko also had other Star Wars tunes that he disco-fied. The Empire Strikes Back theme was a number 18 hit, and he also did Ewok Celebration that hit number 60 in 1983. He also did non-Star Wars films, like the theme from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, theme from Wizard of Oz, theme from Shogun, and even the main theme from Superman. This was kind of his thing in the late 70s and early 80s, but this was his only big hit, Miko, and the Star Wars theme Cantina Band, song number 1679 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. Song number 1678, and we go back into the 60s and Dion DiMucci of Dion and the Belmonts. Now, we've already heard from him 4 times, twice with the Belmonts, Where or When at song 2705, and A Teenager in Love at 2081. And we also heard from him twice as a solo artist, Ruby Baby at 2076, and just recently Abraham Martin and John at song 1904. He returns again for a number 2 hit from 1962 called The Wanderer, and it's a song about a bachelor lover boy extraordinaire. It peaked at number 2 on February 24th, 1962, kept out of the top spot by Gene Chandler's 3-week number 1 hit Duke of Earl. It lands right here at song 1678. This is Dion with The Wanderer.
I kiss them and I love them, 'cause to me they're all the same. I hug them and I squeeze them, they don't even know my name. They call me the Wanderer, yeah, the Wanderer. I roam around. Oh, well, there's Flo on my left arm and there's Mary on my right arm.
I remember my parents loved that song when it came out. I think they were 16, 17 years old. Rolling Stone loved it too. It was number 243 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. It was the follow-up tune to his number 1 hit Runaround Soup, which we're going to hear later in this countdown. That was Dion and The Wanderer, song number 1678. And we go to 1677, another number 2 hit, this from the mid-80s. And it's from a soap opera star, Jack Wagner. He was primarily an actor on General Hospital, Santa Barbara, The Bold and the Beautiful, and even Melrose Place from the 90s. And occasionally, soap opera stars will trickle over onto the pop charts, most notably Rick Springfield from General Hospital, and he had quite an 80s career of himself, but he was more of a singer that acted. This is an actor who sung, because he only had 1 hit, called All I Need. It was written and produced by Glenn Ballard and Cliff Magnus, but Wagner was the one who sung it with his all-American good looks, and it peaked at number 2 on January 12th and January 19th of 1985, kept out of the top spot by Madonna's Like a Virgin. This is song 1677, Jack Wagner, and All I Need.
All I need is just a little more time to be sure what I feel isn't all in my mind, 'cause it seems so hard to believe.
Jack Wagner even dabbled in Broadway for a little while, playing the title role in Jekyll and Hyde, and even Tony in West Side Story in 1987. He has had quite the checkered career. This was his only top 40 hit, however. It's song number 1677. This was All I Need. Jack Wagner. Song number 1676. And we get to the first song on this countdown by arena indie rock group from the 2010s, Imagine Dragons. They're based out of Las Vegas and had quite the career in the 2010s, most notably for songs that had really long stays in the top 40. They never hit number one, but they had 4 top 10 hits with a total amount of weeks spent in the top 40, get this, of 171 weeks between those 4 songs. Not to mention 4 other songs that hit top 20 that spent a total of 89 weeks. So between 8 songs, they spent 260 weeks in the top 40. There was always an Imagine Dragons song somewhere in the top 20 or the top 10. They have 4 songs in this countdown. The first one, it's a number 6 song, a number 6 alert. A number 6 alert, one of 2 songs in this set list that peaked at number 6. And this one is the 13th greatest song in Billboard history that peaked at number 6. It's called Demons. It's from 2013, spent 35 weeks in the top 40, which is why a number 6 song could be ranked this high. And it lands right here at song 1676. Here's the first of 4 hits from Imagine Dragons and Demons. Dan Reynolds, Wayne Sermon, and Ben McKee, along with many other past members. That was Imagine Dragons, also one of the first concerts my daughter Abby ever went to, back in the mid-teens when she was becoming more independent. That was Demons, song number 1676 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. They've got 3 more hits coming up, all top 10s, all that had long stays in the top 40. Our special segment is on the year 1991 on Billboard, and that's really a 2-part conversation. One about the year's music, 1991, and one about the specific event in 1991. I'm going to do the latter first. There are 4 specific instances of a line drawn in Billboard's history, according to me anyway, and I think most historians, where as soon as that line was crossed, music changed. 1955 was the first one, when Rock Around the Clock hit number 1, which signified that rock music was here to stay and in the mainstream. 1964 was the second one, when the British invasion occurred, headed by the Beatles and all of their number 1 hits. It paved the way for all the great music of the 60s that was so much different than everything that was in the early 60s. The fourth one was in 1998, when Billboard acknowledged that the way that people listen to music changes when they allow records to chart without releasing it as a single, using only airplay-only charts to market. That changed in December of 98 for many, many reasons, which we've discussed before. The third one might be the most significant, and it occurred in 1991. That's when they started to go into the electronic age and would measure music differently, and as a result, changed the Billboard charts. Before 1991, everything was kind of hand counted in a way. You can't count every single light bulb that's distributed, so you send it out to 100 radio stations and 100 record stores and saying, okay, tell me your top 10 or top 20 most played or most sold. And the program manager or the record store manager would give that list, send it over to Billboard. They would tabulate it all and come up with the Hot 100. There's a lot of subjectiveness that could go into a hand count by 100 different folks across the country, and a lot of bias that could go into it, ripe for corruption, as is any industry that's chasing a number 1 position. In December of 1991, they went to the computer age. Songs that played on the radio were now captured in a 3-second thumbprint. A computer will now hear that song and tabulate it automatically. That computer measuring system completely changed Billboard's charts from then on. And you can tell in the very first week of December in 1991 when songs would zoom up the charts or down or debut or fall off from the week prior. So you knew it was making some kind of difference. Before, we used to have a lot of trajectories where a song would debut at number 57, move to 35, 26, 3, 6, 5, and it would be very symmetrical rise and fall, almost like a bell-shaped curve. That's not the case after 1991. A song could debut at number 1, drop to 3, go back to number 1, then down to 6, and then up to 3, and then back to 10. It's whatever the computers tabulated. A song would get to the top of the charts faster and stay up there longer. Before 1991, there were only 3 songs in the rock era that were number 1 hits for 10 weeks or more. After 1991, that was broken several times just in the first couple of years, starting with Boyz II Men's End of the Road, which had a 13-week stay at number 1 in 1992. That all started in 1991. I could spend an entire podcast talking about it, and I have on some of the bonus episode, Mailbags. It's a fascinating topic. I will get to the second part of the conversation about the songs in the year 1991 a little later in this podcast. But what I will do is open up the responses for the question that I asked. What's your favorite song from 1991? So many responses already. Rebecca Mountain comes back with Rush Rush by Paula Abdul. Rush Rush was the first song in 7 years to be number 1 for more than 4 weeks. The last time that had happened was Like a Virgin by Madonna at the end of '84. That's a very good first one. Thank you, Rebecca. Ken Caden gives Something to Talk About by Bonnie Raitt. Her big move into the mainstream was 1991. He also said, I'll throw out this one because I didn't see anyone else mention it, Baby Baby by Amy Grant, which is one of the best pop songs, I think, of the early 90s. Bill Yates lists U2's One, a fabulous song and one of the highest rated U2 songs according to a lot of rock critics. Mike Boyna, Losing My Religion by R.E.M. Speaking of rock critics, they drool over that song. Tom Haley also lists Losing My Religion, Love Will Never Do Without You by Janet Jackson, and Things That Make You Go by CC Music Factory, a song we've already played on this countdown. And Jack Smith also lists Something to Talk About by Bonnie Raitt. We will get back to 1991 later in this podcast. But now, on with the countdown. And song number 1675 in the Los Angeles-based group Ambrosia. Remember them from the late 70s, early 80s? A soft rock feel, a yacht rock feel, as it were. And the great tenor voice of lead singer David Pack. They placed 5 songs in the top 40 between 1975 and 1980, and 2 top 10s. Those were by far their biggest hits. Number 3 hits. This is the first of 2 called How Much I Feel, a number 3 hit from 1978 that spent 14 weeks in the top 40. Lands right here at song 1675. Welcome to the countdown, Ambrosia, with How Much I Feel.
That's how much I feel for you, baby. How much I need. Well, I need your touch. How much I live. I live for your loving. That's how much. That's how much.
He's got a little bit of 70s Daryl Hall in him, doesn't he? Another reason why I like Ambrosia. Their second hit and their best hit, Biggest Part of Me, we're going to hear in about 8-9 podcasts from now. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, How Much I Feel, song number 1675 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. Moving on to song number 1674, and we get out our hip-hop shoes in 2002, and Eve Jihan Cooper, known stage name just as Eve. Now, she placed 7 hits in the top 40, and much like Ambrosia, had 2 hits that were far better than all their other ones. Both of them number 2 hits. Both of these had a little bit of help. The first one, Let Me Blow Your Mind, we're going to hear from later, that had some help with Gwen Stefani. This one, Gangsta Lovin' from 2002, had a little help from R&B singer Alicia Keys. From September 14th, 21st, and 28th of 2002, a 3-week span at number 2, kept out of the top spot by Nelly's Smash Dilemma. And what sucks is the very next week, Dilemma fell to number 2, but this one couldn't climb ahead of it. It fell to number 3. Anyway, it lands at song number 1674. This is Eve with just a little help from Alicia Keys and Gangsta Lovin'.
Want you in the best way. What you gonna do about it? Why don't you just test me? You won't want to do without it. No, I'm coming at you hard, eating the thug. And I ain't giving up till I get that gangsta love.
Eve has also had an acting career, appearing in the series of movies Barbershop, as well as drama films like The Woodsman. She also co-hosted the CBS daytime talk show The Talk. She's a star in several arenas. She's got one song left, Let Me Blow Your Mind. We'll get to that later, but for now, song number 1674, that was Eve and Gangsta Lovin'. Song number 1673, Stevie Wonder was only 13 years old when he had his first hit, and it went all the way to number 1, Fingertips Part 2. That one is not this song, but I bring this up because by the time he was 17, he had 10 top 40 hits, including 5 top 5s, including the wonderful song Everything's All Right Uptight, a number 3 hit, which just missed this countdown. He was 16 at the time in 1966. 1 year later, he topped himself with the number 2 hit, I Was Made to Love Her. I can't believe he was only 17 when he did this. Went to number 2 in 1967, spent 12 weeks in the top 40, kept out of the top spot on July 29th and August 5th, 1967 by the Doors classic, Light My Fire. It lands here at 1673, the 5th song on this countdown for Stevie Wonder. This is I Was Made to Love Her.
Don't you know I was made to love from a world all around her? Yeah, hey, hey, hey. She's been my inspiration, showed appreciation for the love I gave her through the years.
It's a pop R&B with a little bit of funk masterpiece. Of course, everything Stevie Wonder does is a masterpiece. That was I Was Made to Love Her, song number 1673 on Billboard's top 3,000 songs of all time. And of course, the great Stevie's got 14 hits left on this countdown. So 1991 music, what did it contain? It was a lot of spray to all fields, but something that I read from Tom Brian in the book The Number Ones about early 90s music and early 90s hip-hop specifically was there was a lot of novelty rap that went to the top of the charts. It wasn't the hardcore rap that you would get later in the decade, the gangster rap, East versus West, the Tupacs, the Biggie Smalls, the Puff Daddies. The NWAs and Public Enemies of the late 80s and early 90s were certainly popular, but they weren't crossing over quite to the top of the Hot 100 charts. But DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince was at the top of the charts. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch was at the top of the charts. You had MC Hammer. You had Vanilla Ice in 1990 that carried over into 91. But you still had a lot of holdovers from the 80s superstars like Michael Jackson, like Whitney Houston, like Rod Stewart. You had new divas like Mariah Carey, like Celine Dion. While Paula Abdul, while hitting the top of the charts in 89, was still carrying a lot of star power. You still had your hair metal and your heavy metal bands, which were so popular in the late 80s. Metallica had their biggest Billboard hit of their career in 91. Remember the controversy in 1987 when George Michael had the audacity to name a song, I Want Your Sex, so much that Casey Kasem didn't mention it in his American Top 40 broadcasts. In 1991, softened a little bit. I Want to Sex You Up was a number 1 hit. Let's Talk About Sex by 2 women rappers, Salt and Peppa. You had the biggest charting quartet of the 90s, Boyz II Men, make their debut. Grunge was on the cusp of coming out. It was a year early, but alternative bands like REM made their stamp with songs like Losing My Religion. We Walked in Memphis, we OPP'd, we Rico Suave, but Everything I Did It For You, the number 1 song of the year, which spent 7 weeks at the top of the Billboard charts. And that was the first time anything that had been that long since Every Breath You Take by The Police in 1983. Songs were just starting to stay at the top a little bit longer even before the switch in December. The switch changed everything, where 7 weeks doesn't mean much, but it certainly did in the summer of 1991. All told, there were 209 songs that hit the top 40 in 1991. 68 of them made this top 3,000 countdown. 27 of them we've heard already, and 2 of them we are going to hear in the next 2 songs, including what could be the most significant number 1 of the rock era. The first one, a number 4 hit from Luther Vandross, and the best song of his career. We heard him one other time on this countdown, a 1990 song called Here and Now. He outdid himself in 91 with the song Power of Love, Love Power, and it's song number 1672. This is from 1991, Luther Vandross and Power of Love, Love Power.
Hold me closer in every minute of every hour. Feel the power of love. Yeah. Hold me tighter and take me higher and feel the fire of the power of love.
It's a medley of 2 songs, Power of Love, written by Vandross, and the Love Power portion was a remix of a one-hit wonder R&B group called the Sand Pebbles in 1968. They took the both together, and they made a number 4 hit, and the best hit of Luther Vandross's career. He died way too young at 54. What a fabulous voice he had, and what a fun song. Power of Love, Love Power, song number 1672 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. Moving to song 1671, and this is another 1991 hit, and I said it's one of the most significant number 1s of the rock era. How so? Well, I keep mentioning about the switch that we moved over to the computer era. You've heard it enough from me. What was the first song that hit number 1 from a computer calculation? Nielsen SoundScan's Data's first number 1 hit. It's from an ethereal hip-hop duo from New Jersey called PM Dawn, formed with brothers Atrell and Jared Cordes. They had 4 top 40 hits in the early 90s from 91 to 93, including 3 top 10s, 2 of them that made this countdown, but only the one number 1 hit. And while other songs were racing up the charts or down the charts with this new Nielsen SoundScan system, this one kind of drifted right into the number 1 position following their number 3 position the last week of the old system. It actually maintained a trajectory, at least going up the charts. And when I say moving up and down quickly, Black and White by Michael Jackson moved from 35 to 3 in the first week and then hit number 1 for 7 weeks just after. But not for this 1 week. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss by PM Dawn, one of the most significant number 1 songs of the rock era, and it's song number 1671. Let's take a listen.
She was right though, I can't lie. She's just one of those corners of my mind, and I just put her right back with the rest. That's the way it goes, I guess.
Now, the more astute listeners will note the heavy sampling of the song True by Spandau Ballet, the 80s hit that this song actually outranks. That was song number 2157, but this one beats it. It was the dawn of a new age, Set Adrift on Memory Bliss by PM Dawn, song number 1671 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. And we are halfway done with this set. I was talking about rap music before, about it was all novelty in the early 90s. Well, by the 2000s, rap was everywhere. And one of the most critically acclaimed hip-hop duos of this era was the Atlanta, Georgia-based OutKast, featuring Big Boy and Andre 3000. Remember them? Rolling Stone has them listed number 7 in the top 20 duos of all time. They have 20 million records sold and 7 Grammys won. They're really good. And they're powered by 3 number 1 hits. Interestingly, two of them released at exactly the same time in 2003, before the era of the album bomb. We'll get to those later, but this one, Miss Jackson, was their first number one hit in 2000, and it's song number 1670. This is OutKast with Miss Jackson.
She never got a chance to hear my side of the story. We was divided. She had fish fries and cookouts for my child's birthday. I ain't invited. Despite it, I show her the utmost respect when I fall through. All you would defend that lady when I call you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times.
Rolling Stone magazine listed this as the 145th greatest song of all time, which is quite the praise coming from Rolling Stone. They have another wonderful hit from 2004 called Roses, and one of the coolest videos that I've seen, but that just missed this countdown as a number 9 hit. But Miss Jackson spent 21 weeks in the top 40 and hit number 1 February 17th, 2001 at the end of their top 10 run. It's song number 1670. We're going to hear them 2 more times. Way later in season 3. Valley of the Dolls was a movie from 1967 directed by Mark Robson and starring Barbara Perkins, Patty Duke, and Sharon Tate. It was very well received from the audiences, although the critics didn't particularly care for it. The soundtrack's main theme was sung by Dionne Warwick, R&B soul singer who produced 30 top 40 hits in her career. We already heard her once, I Say a Little Prayer. It's song 2617, about 1,000 songs ago. It takes a movie soundtrack to bring her back. This song went all the way up to number 2 in 1968. It actually spent 4 weeks at number 2 between February 24th and March 16th of 1968, kept out of the top spot, first for 3 weeks by Paul Moriarty and his orchestra Love is Blue instrumental, and then in the 4th week got leapfrogged by Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. It lands here at song number 1669. This is Dionne Warwick and the theme from the Valley of the Dolls.
When did I stop feeling sure, feeling safe, and start wondering why?
Interestingly enough, the title track that she's singing was on the film soundtrack, but not on the soundtrack album, due to a contractual conflict of interest. That's a shame, because it did spend 11 weeks in the top 40, and 4 at number 2 would have fit really well in the actual soundtrack, and the song itself is just called Theme from the Valley of the Dolls. A little backstory there. That was Dionne Warwick. She's got 3 hits left on this countdown, 2 of them number 1s, including the number 1 Dionne and Friends hit, That's What Friends Are For. That was Dionne Warwick and Theme from Valley of the Dolls. Song number 1668. And I love the resurgence of Carlos Santana in the late 90s and early aughts. When we last heard him at song 2084, it was the song Black Magic Woman from 1970, when he was really young and fronting his own band, Santana, which featured guitarist Neil Schon from Journey, by the way. He had a modicum of success in the 70s and a little bit in the 80s with songs like Hold On and Winning and Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. And then he went away and came back in 1999 with a bang, and the song Smooth, featuring Matchbox 20's Rob Thomas. That song will be in the very last podcast. It was that highly ranked, but he had some follow-ups to that in 2000 and 2002. The number 1 song, Maria Maria, which we'll also be hearing in one of the last few podcasts. He was really popular. And this song, a number 5 hit called The Game of Love from 2002. No, not the Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders version of The Game of Love. This one features vocalist Michelle Branch with Santana and his band on the background. It won a Grammy Award for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals in 2002 and spent 33 weeks in the top 40. Good for Santana. Give it up for him. This is song number 1668 and The Game of Love. rock musician Michelle Branch had some solo hits of her own in the early aughts. Her best hit was a number 6 hit, All You Wanted, that finished this countdown at 3477. On this collaboration with Santana, she bursts into the top 3,000 countdown at song number 1668. That was Santana and the Game of Love. So what are the listeners' favorite songs of 1991? Let's go back to the Facebook question. Stephen Taylor lists Mercy, Mercy Me, I Want You by Robert Palmer, who was still making music in the 90s, and Someday by Mariah Carey, one of her first number 1 hits. Devon DeShazo lists Strike It Up by Black Box, Tom's Diner by Suzanne Vega with DNA. God, I loved that song. Played that a lot on a cassette single. And The First Time by Surface. Scott Anderson, I Saw Red by Warrant, and Don't Treat Me Bad by Firehouse. Robert Brittenham, Fading Like a Flower Every Time You Leave by Roxette. Or Love Will Never Do Without You by Janet Jackson. Second person that's mentioned that one. Or Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. Guess if I need to just pick one, she's going with Janet. Not the only one that said that. Stephen Edlin, A Couple Days Off by Huey Lewis and the News. And one that's frequently mentioned, Freedom 90 by George Michael. Louis Borraquez, That Year I Turned 15, one of the best years of my life, filled with hundreds of favorite songs. He lists a bunch. Losing My Religion is one of them. Fading Like a Flower by Roxette, and Love at First Sight by Styx. Those are good ones. My sister, Elizabeth Armstrong, Freedom 90. George Michael is stellar. What a Video too. Matt, her husband, and I like to belt that out when it's on. She also loved Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, another super cool video. Brian Filatovich lists several. Uncle Tom's Cabin by Warrant. Motown Philly, that was one of the first hits by Boyz II Men, in which they started to dominate the 90s. Don't Treat Me Bad by Firehouse, and 3 a.m. Eternal by the KLF. We had that earlier in this countdown. Joseph Toth's Firehouse, Don't Treat Me Bad. That's another one that's saying that. And Roxette's Fading Like a Flower. That's another one that's saying like that. I'm sensing a theme here. Anthony Velasquez, 1991 is my favorite year of music. So many songs, but I'd have to say The Promise of a New Day by Paula Abdul and Rush Rush. Thank you for not saying Blowing Kisses in the Wind. Thank you, Anthony. D. Roberts, Love Will Never Do Without You by Janet Jackson. I know it was on an 89 album and was released as a single in late 90, but it hit number 1 in 91, so I'm counting it. Mark Weilich, who always lists a bunch of them, gives me Don't Treat Me Bad by Firehouse, Love of a Lifetime by Firehouse, Walking in Memphis by Mark Cohn. I wish that made the countdown, but alas, it did not. If I had to pick just one, it would be Walking in Memphis, hands down. Tim Jones gave me a whole bunch as well, including I Don't Want to Cry by Mariah Carey, Joyride by Roxette, a couple of Whitney Houston hits, and Something to Talk About by Bonnie Raitt. We'll keep this going later in the podcast. But for now, on with the countdown and song number 1667. According to Wikipedia, New Jack Swing is a style of music, a fusion genre of rhythms and production techniques of hip-hop and dance pop and the urban contemporary sound of R&B. That was a big thing in the early 90s. Artists like Keith Sweat, Al B. Sure, Bobby Brown from New Edition, Tony, they were all big on the New Jack Swing genre, as was this Houston trio called H-Town, with member brothers Kevin and Solomon Connor and friend Daryl Jackson. They had 3 top 40 hits between 1993 and 1997. 1993 was their only top 10 hit, a number 3 hit called Knockin' the Boots, which spent 20 weeks in the top 40. 10 of those in the top 5, which is why it's as high as it is. Lance here at song number 1667. This is H-Town and Knockin' the Boots.
Somebody rockin', baby. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', that's all I need. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' the boots.
They were not quite a one-hit wonder. They did have the 2 other hits, but none of them peaked beyond number 35, They Like It Slow from 1997. That was the one big hit, Knockin' the Boots, H-Town, song number 1667 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. I was really hoping song 1666 would be Devil Inside by INXS. I'm actually not that far off, but that would have been so much fun. Instead, 1666 goes to Pitbull, who we have not heard from yet. Pitbull, whose real name is Armando Christian Perez, is a rapper from Miami. He had 18 top 40 hits between 2004 and 2015, but his heyday was kind of right in the middle between 2009 and 2013, when he scored 5 top 10 hits, including 2 number ones and a number 2. The number 2 hit we're playing now, and it was really his breakthrough hit, for he never cracked the top 30 before it. The song's called I Know You Want Me, Cale Ocho. It spent 27 weeks in the top 40 and did climb up to number 2 for a single week, kept out of the top spot by Boom Boom Pow by the Black Eyed Peas, in which pretty much every week of that entire year, 2009, was held down by the Black Eyed Peas. This is song 1666. This is I Know You Want Me, Cale Ocho. Welcome to the Countdown, Pitbull. Let's take a listen.
You know I want you. I know you want me. You know I want you. I know you want me. You know I want you. I know you want me. You know I want you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
No doubt he got the Miami clubs going throughout his career. Pitbull, rapper of many dance tracks. That's his first of 3 hits on this countdown. Despite the 18 total top 40 hits, a lot of them were middling, where they peaked between 7 and 17 and all missed this countdown. But he did get 3 in. This is the first of 3. I Know You Want Me, Cale Ocho, song number 1666 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. In a 20-song set list that features Ms. Jackson and Knockin' the Boots and I Know You Want Me and Gangsta Lovin', that a song like Poetry in Motion by Johnny Tillotson might feel a little bit out of place, but that's the wonderful part about the countdown, is the mashing togethers of the genres, bound together only by the number of points they had on their run on the Billboard charts. Johnny Tillotson with his second of his 2 songs on this countdown. We heard him at song number 2152, the song It Keeps Right On a Hurtin'. Well, Poetry in Motion is his best and his signature song, went all the way up to number 2 in 1960, on November 14th, 1960, kept out of the number 1 position by Ray Charles' Georgia on My Mind, that number 1 hit. Johnny Tillotson landing here at song number 1665. This is Poetry in Motion.
Poetry in motion, walking by my side, her lovely locomotion keeps my eyes open wide. Poetry in motion, see her gentle sway.
This song is so early 60s, right down to that saxophone in the background that's dotting the verses. That was Poetry in Motion by Johnny Tillotson, Jacksonville, Florida based, who just died last year on April 1st at age 86. That was the best song of his career, Poetry in Motion, song number 1665 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. Moving on to song 1664, and the 12th greatest song in the rock era that peaked at number 6. I told you there was going to be another one. This one is from 1976. Henry Gross is an American singer-songwriter from Brooklyn who was briefly a member of the early days of the doo-wop rock group Sha Na Na. He had a high-pitched top 10 song in 1976 called Shannon, written about the death of a pet dog that belonged to Beach Boys member Carl Wilson. It was a worldwide hit that went to number 1 in Canada and number 6 in the United States. It's song number 1664. This is Henry Gross with Shannon.
Shannon is gone off love, she's drifting off the sea. She always loved to swim away.
It really fit in well with the schmaltz pop of the mid-70s, I have to say. Henry Gross, he had one other hit, a follow-up hit, Springtime Mama, that peaked at number 37, but that's the last we heard of him in the top 40. Still singing and songwriting in his hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. That was Henry Gross, song number 1664. That was Shannon. Well, we've heard both from American rapper Lil Jon and French record producer DJ Snake in previous hits on this countdown. DJ Snake combined with Major Lazer on the song Lean On, song number 1833, while Lil Jon had a solo effort at song 2887 a long time ago called Snap Your Fingers. Well, they both combine for song number 1663, a 2014 song, a classic called Turn Down for What? It was from the movie Furious 7, and it was certified 8 times platinum, and it even passed 1 billion views on YouTube. Very, very popular. On the Billboard charts, it peaked at number 4, spent 30 weeks in the top 40 in 2014. They combined for song 1663, DJ Snake and Lil Jon with Turn Down for What?
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Did you know that there are only 12 words in that entire song? Fire up that loud, another round of shots, turn down for what? Reminds me a little of that number 1 disco hit, Fly Robin Fly, Up to the Sky, where that's the entire song. DJ Snake and Lil Jon, they both have more hits coming up later in this countdown, but collaborative, it was just their only one. Song 1663, Turn Down for What? 1991. Let's go back to the Facebook group and find out some more. Our final segment on your favorite song from that magical year. Robin Zisman Stone and Robin Klutz Collins both came up with the same song, and I'm so glad they did because it is one of my all-time favorites. Groove is in the Heart by Delight. Robin Collins also mentions Power of Love, Love Power by Luther Vandross, which we just heard. Robin Zisman Stone said it's not her favorite music era. Ironically, this is when I was working for a record label in New York City. Ooh, I need to learn more about that. Mitch Worthington, so many songs that ended up on the 91 year-end charts that came out in 90. Well, I know they still count. I'm going to go with Touch Me All Night Long by Kathy Dennis. 10-year-old Mitch was in love with Kathy Dennis. Albert Navarro, Gypsy Woman, She's Homeless by Crystal Waters. Joe Aguinaldo, I was going to the clubs a lot in 91, so I'm just going to pick Gonna Make You Sweat, 3 a.m. Eternal, or Gypsy Woman. Lansing Steiner also mentions Just Another Dream by Kathy Dennis. Head Like a Hole by 9 Inch Nails, good one there. And Right Here, Right Now by Jesus Jones. Dan Ruskin, Abso-Frickin-Lutely Silent Lucidity by Queensryche, the only 90s song in my all-time top 10. That's in my top 50 of all time, Dan. It's a phenomenal song. Joseph Ayers, There She Goes by The La's, got to number 49, great album. Diego Figueroa, Someday by Mariah Carey. Eugene Uso, Disappear by In Excess. They were still doing hits in the 90s. Don Logus, Something to Talk About by My Girl Bonnie Raitt. Jim Robertson, Gonna Make You Sweat, Everybody Dance Now by CC Music Factory, and Unbelievable by EMF. Jeffrey Marr, Crazy by Seal. I heard it on the radio in my car one day and drove to a Circuit City right then and bought the CD. The whole first Seal album is awesome. Jeffrey St. John, Can't Stop This Thing We Started by Bryan Adams. That was the year of Bryan Adams, really. Mark Enns, Into the Great Wide Open by Tom Petty, and Show Me the Way by Styx. Rhonda Work, Wholehearted by Extreme. Aaron McCracken was going to say Blowin' Kisses, and thank you for not saying it. He did say Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J, fantastic hit, along with Power of Love, Love Power, Luther Vandross. Daily Carrasco, Explain It to My Heart by Chicago, amongst many. Steve Ruskin, lots of good songs from that year. I graduated from high school. For my top choice, I'll go with Silent Lucidity by Queensryche. Rich Gomez, Rico Suave, Yes, I Said It. Luis Humberto Castro, my favorite year growing up. I was 12 and couldn't get enough of CCM Music Factory, Boyz II Men, and Color Me Bad. I'd probably choose Gonna Make You Sweat. Matt Geske had hit in 1991, but I'll count it. The Man in the Box by Alice in Chains, Stop Me in My Tracks. Victor Cruz adds to the pile of Love Will Never Do Without You by Janet Jackson, and Fred Hawson, it's got to be my go-to karaoke song, Losing My Religion by R.E.M. So many great songs from 1991, as Ann Keene will attest to. Thank you everybody for responding. Remember, if you respond in the Facebook group, you could be on this podcast. Now to the last two songs of this set. Song number 1662. And we're going to keep dancing. Brittney Spears is back on the charts with her number one hit from 2008, Womanizer. Speaking of titles that are repeated frequently, although she has more than 12 words in her song, this is the fourth time we've heard her following Till the World Ends at song 2636, and 3 at 2457, and then Scream and Shout at 2255. She only has two number one hits, Baby One More Time, of course, her best hit, and this one, Womanizer. Spent 21 weeks in the top 40, lands right here at song 1662, Brittney Spears, Womanizer.
Just let you out. Boy, don't try to front. No, just let you out. You got me going. You're oh so charming, but I can do it. You womanizer. Boy, don't try to front. No, just let you out. Boy, don't try to front. No, just let you out.
Critically acclaimed with a nice hook to it, this kind of marks a comeback hit for Brittney Spears. She didn't have many hits in the mid-aughts as she was dealing with some personal issues, but she comes back hard in 2008 with a number one hit. It actually debuted at number one for a single week on October 25th of 2008. Lands here at song 1662. That was Brittney Spears. And we get to the final song in this set, song 1661. Who's going to get it? Who's going to get the drum roll this week? Well, I'll give you some hints. It's from an English group that came along in the latter part of the Beatle British invasion of the 60s that made this 1972 hit with quite a complicated set of lyrics, considering the type of music was very rock and rollish, almost like Creedence. And it's going kind of fast, so it's hard to know exactly what's going on. But there is a lot of substance in the lyrics. It's the best song of the career of the group that sang songs like He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother, Bus Stop, and The Air That I Breathe, a song that we heard at song number 2667. This peaked at number 2 in 1972 after hitting 13 weeks in the top 40. Do you know it yet? Do you know the group? Do you know the song? Well, I'll reveal it now. Song number 1661, and the best song of this set is The Hollies with Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress. Kept out of the top spot on September 2nd and September 9th of 1972 by Gilbert O'Sullivan's Alone Again Naturally. And like Creedence, number 2 was as far as they could get. They never had a song bigger than a number 2 hit. But it's this one, Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies, song number 1661 on Billboard's Top 3,000 Songs of All Time. And that will do it. Another set of 20 songs, or 21 in this case, with the double-sided hit right at the beginning. Thank you very much for joining. This was quite a dance-heavy 21st century podcast, wasn't it? I'd like to thank Jeffrey Mosher, Robert Rusk, and Mitch Worthington, for without their combined efforts and help, this podcast wouldn't be the best it could be. But most of all, I want to thank you, the listener. I have over 14,000 downloads now, with new cities like Stowe, Ohio, Karachi, Sindh in Pakistan, Dunedin, Florida, and Chillicothe, Illinois. Thank you very much. Tune in next week as we continue to burrow through the 1600s as we get closer and closer to the number one song of the rock era. Like I do with every single episode, I will end it by playing a montage of the clips that you had just heard. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Stay cool. Until next time. It is one of the great pleasures in life to connect with people, both through voice or through song. I hope I've done both. And so on, and so on, and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Good day.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Down to Junior's home where I wanna let go. Low life, high life, let's go. Take me down to Junior's home. Take me down to
Sally G, why do you wanna do the things you do to me? You're my Sally, Sally G.
And I love them, cause to me they're all the same. I hug them and I squeeze them, they don't even know my name. They call me the Wanderer, yeah, the Wanderer. I roam around, 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 around. Oh, well, there's Flo on my left arm and there's Mary on my right. And
All I need is just a little more time to be sure. What I feel isn't all in my mind, 'cause it seems so hard to believe. You pull my key, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't get too close. It's dark inside. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. That's how much I feel for you, baby. How much I need. Well, I need your touch. How much I need. I live for your loving. That's how much. That's how much.
Want you in the best way. What you gonna do about it? Why don't you just test me? You won't want to do without it. No, I'm coming at you hard, eating the thug. And I ain't giving up till I get that gangster love.
Don't you know I was made to love from a world all around her? Yeah, hey, hey, hey. She's been my inspiration, showed appreciation for the love I gave her through the years.
hold me closer in every minute of every hour. Feel the power of love, yeah. Hold me tighter and take me higher and feel the fire of the power of love.
She was right though, I can't lie. She's just one of those corners of my mind, and I just put her right back with the rest. That's the way it goes, I guess.
She never got a chance to hear my side of the story, we was divided. She had fish fries, cookouts for my child's birthday, I ain't invited. Despite it, I show her the utmost respect when I fall through. All you would defend that lady when I call you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times.
When did I stop feeling sure, feeling safe, and start wondering why? Wondering why? Little bit of that started with a kiss. Now we're up to that. A little bit of laughs, a little bit of pain. Turn my back, it's all in the game of love. Whatever you make it to be.
Good Lord,
Somebody
rockin', baby. Give me some good Lord.
Somebody rockin' out the
That's all I need, give me some good Lord.
Somebody rockin' out your devil.
You want me, you know I want ya. I know you want me, you know I want ya. I know you want me, you know I want ya. I know you want me, you know I want ya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Poetry in motion, walking by my side. Her love
for love.